Hello, everyone. Today I'm with my friend and client Kabir. We've been working together for almost
It was about 4 years.
4 years.
I think so.
I thought it
Yeah.
was 2 years.
Yeah, time flies.
So I started working with his mom. That was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And then his dad about 6 years ago. And then he came in the picture around 4 years ago. He didn't come in the picture literally, but he started working with me around 4 years ago as a stretch therapist and getting some mobility guidance in terms of how to train and all this stuff. And he's one of those people who actually did take my philosophy and applied it. So everything that I've just told him, I always get feedback from his parents that he is actually doing all of that stuff. So I've seen him progress on a lot of different levels, getting deeply connected with his body, and a lot of the stuff when I say it's not just my guidance that helps, it's the application of things on the end of the person who's receiving the guidance, and he's one of those A students. So his experience to be shared, I thought would be great just to bring it on the table. He's got a really sedentary routine day to day. He works in an office, structural jobs, and he's also a drummer. He tries his best to stay active. He does yoga, he does training, and some more things he can add on. And he had some physical discomfort when we started, and I'll let him kind of come in and then explain what brought you to me to work with me, and how has your experience been with fascial stretch therapy and my model of training.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I came to see Dean about 4 years ago, and I was having a lot of pain in my knees, and I just found I couldn't move the way I wanted to. I'm a very active guy, even if I'm not, playing sports or doing yoga. I'm always on my feet and out and about and doing things. And I was finding I was having trouble just doing that and living my life. So I went to go see Dean, and I thought, okay, I'm having knee pain, so therefore the problem is in my knee.
Yeah.
But Dean was telling me, no, it's top to bottom, the whole body contributes. Everything from your ankles, your calves, glutes, hips, core. So really started working with Dean on all of that. And boom, the knee pain went away. I was kind of back to doing my routine, living my life, the way that I wanted to. And just like you were saying, I do have a typical 9 to 5 job. You're sitting around a lot, and it's really easy to, I find, get sucked in to your work when you're at a laptop. You got calls and calls and calls. The whole day can go by, and you're sitting down, and you're slouching and bad posture. So it's very easy to kind of get yourself in those quote unquote bad routines.
Yep.
So I found it was very helpful to come see Dean, one, to actually address the physical problems that I was having, which was my knee pain at the time, but two, to also get myself out of those bad routines and into a good routine, so things like that knee pain, it won't happen in the first place.
So what things you found was easy to apply for yourself? And because a lot of times I get from clients, it's really hard just to find time to stretch. It's really hard to focus on the posture. And what I generally teach is grounding engagement and maintaining the diaphragmatic breathing pattern, just to bring it more of a skill focus as opposed to just chasing a unicorn. That posture means you have to sit straight, but it's bringing attention to what you can do when you notice you have a bad posture. Did you find that philosophy help you in terms of tuning in when you noticed? Awareness of what's not right is always a step one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say literally everything that you just said helped me kind of get into that good routine. I find I'm a person, with everything I do, I like to dumb it down to its simplest form. That way,
all of that way.
Right? I know, and it's easier said than done, but that way, like, the mountain isn't as hard to climb.
Absolutely, yeah.
So some of the things that you mentioned, sitting up a little bit straight, grounding, tightness in your core. I found that's a pretty simple thing that I can do. Just when I'm sitting down, shove my heels into the ground. That's easy. And by doing that, exactly like you were saying, a lot of the times your body just ends up sitting up a little bit straight,er.
Absolutely.
And your core just ends up being a little bit tighter. And all I have to do is focus on the one thing: heels into ground. And that's nice and easy. And then I find, obviously, the more you start doing it, the less you have to start thinking about it. And then you can start thinking about, okay, I don't have to think about driving my heels into the ground, I just do that out of habit. Now I can start thinking about, okay, let me like make my core a little bit tight. Let me push my shoulders back a little bit. So I found I took it all step by step by step. But starting with that baseline of, just ground yourself, heels into the ground, it really just set the tone for everything, and just made everything a lot easier. And I found that it was much quicker to get into that routine than I thought it would. I think that's a trap that a lot of people fall into.
Absolutely, and it's not about attaining a perfection in your posture. It's understanding the process and getting really good at applying it. So getting ourselves into the thought process of it's going to take a lot of work is a defeating dialogue that a lot of us find ourselves getting stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes down to someone having a posture that's dysfunctional in nature, that also took a lot of work. That also took work on subconscious level, being in a slumped state for a long period of time. We are talking decades.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take you a decade just to get out of that.
Right.
Perhaps it got easier around like 6-month mark, around a year was a lot easier, and so on and so forth. And I must mention, because I don't want you guys to think, okay, it's a magic, pain's gone and it disappears. Pain travels. Pain travels from one spot to the other, deepening the understanding of where exactly the next deficit is. Isn't that right, Kabir? Because the moment your knee kind of got out of the funk, you noticed something different in the body will start to speak. And just through application of those fundamentals, you started to sort of develop a better understanding of where the discomfort is coming from, so you can cater your self-work to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find too, you also have, once you start working on those fundamentals little by little and start putting your body in correct positions, you start really becoming aware of when you're in the incorrect positions.
Beautiful. Beautifully said,
like take what you were saying before, when we'd always slump and sit at a desk, and I'm very guilty of that. For the longest time before I came to see you, I wouldn't be aware that I was doing that. Now I find it's actually quite quick that I'll still do it, but I'll be aware of like, oh my God, I'm slumping, and I'm aware of it because you know how it feels to be not good, and you're aware of how it feels to be not good because you spent time making a point to, okay, this is what it feels like to actually feel good.
And that feeling is as addictive than anything else, because I say you always find tough things in life, just working on yourself is tough, not working on yourself is tough, going to the gym is tough, not going to the gym and just getting stuck with the results that result in a body not functionally moving the way it's supposed to is also tough. It's how do you channel your energy and resources towards something that actually does work. And that's where I find the simplicity of the gem philosophy works extremely well, because all it starts with pushing your heels down. And one thing I personally have shared that my experience, that as I got connected to my body, I also found that I was more aligned on a spiritual level. There was a better mind, body, and spirit connection. I found myself to be a calmer, more peaceful person, more in the moment. And I'm always intrigued to see if my clients also go through something similar to that. Did you experience something on that front?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, those kind of little things day to day that would be stressors in your life, someone cuts you off in traffic or whatever. Before, I would get like super just around and around about it. And now it's like, okay, just chill. I have other things to focus on, like driving my heels into the ground. And I want to say real quick,
we can say other things to be focused on, connecting to my body.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned before how doing this stuff is addictive. You guys should see what all my friends call me and joke about me. Like, I am known as the stretch guy in my friends group. They're all just clowning me, and I'm telling them like, yo, you guys got to get on the train. So I'm slowly bringing them over. But
yeah, man, I totally get it, because I'm one of those random people you will see on the street, and he'll be stretching with his leg on top of the sedan, and people are looking at me, okay, what is this guy doing? And I'm not saying you have to get to that point that you need to do this. I don't need to do this. I just choose to, because correct me if I'm wrong, it's more so about intuitively giving your body what it needs in that moment.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you stretch. It's not a structure that you're following anymore.
Yeah.
It's a connection that you're, okay, you know what?
I need this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So in streetcar,
yeah.
and people are looking at you like crazy, but that's okay, because guess what? My TMJ feels really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Your opinion doesn't hurt my soul or anything, because I feel so good in my body. Today, when Kabir came, so he had a pain around the Achilles, correct, around the
Yeah.
calf, and he's been very proactive with working on those areas on himself. And our focus of the session was different than what we generally do.
Yeah. Usually we do a lot of, almost entirely stretch work and massage work, which is awesome. But today we did probably about maybe 40% that, but 60%, like I would call it strength training to put it super simply, but you could probably have a much better explanation of it. But I found it was really good because I found the combination of the two was just, I actually felt a world of a difference. I felt back to normal, really, to put it simply.
He said that he was having discomfort walking before.
Yeah.
And now I can actually go sprint and catch his TTC bus.
Yeah.
Like, I won't really recommend doing it right now in the conditions.
Yeah.
Given it's snowing outside. But the powerful thing about combining logical release in the body with a global integration cannot be underestimated, because a lot of times either you're working with just stretching and not integrating, or integrating in dysfunctional ranges that are just accessible to you, and they both don't get your body where you want to go, because you want a complete picture. You want to improve the range of motion in the body, in the joints, and then you want to show your body how to integrate all of it, which allows you to be walking out with a body that can apply gem with no effort at all. Don't you feel your posture feels really good at the moment that you can?
I think so. Yeah. Like it feels like I'm sitting up, like pretty straight, or
You're
at least
sitting up straight.
Yeah. Okay, good. No. And I'm honestly not really thinking about it. That that just doesn't feel good. This feels right.
So what would you like to share with people who feel either they don't have time to work on their posture, or it's going to take too much work?
I would say two things. Well, one thing, you're wrong. Because I get it. And I think a lot of people think that it's they don't have time, or that it's too much work, is because the picture that they have in their head of the amount of time or of the amount of work that goes into it is actually much greater than it actually is. Kind of like what I was saying a little bit before, dumb it down to its simplest little form.
Yeah.
Focus on, if you're sitting at your desk, push your heels into the ground, and you'll sit up a little bit straighter. Do that for, spend 20 minutes where that's at the forefront of your mind. If you're on a meeting, turn your camera off and stand up and stretch and move around a little bit. That's something that I would do all the time, because sometimes it is a bit difficult to step away from your work. My buddy always tells me habit stack, try to do things at the same amount of time. So a meeting I found was a great place where I could be, half kneel, stretching out my quads, but still contributing to my job or my daily life. And yeah, again, a lot of times it really just takes like, we got 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And then eventually you start building on that and building on that. So,
yep. And that's really well put. And a lot of times I find that people think, because I'm not sitting all day long, so it's easy for you because you're on your feet. But now that comes with a different set of problems in a lot of different cases, because when you are doing manual work to the capacity that I do, if I'm not tuned into my posture, into grounding, into engagement of my core as I'm working on clients, guaranteed I would have a sore back, I would have sore arms, shoulders, and I won't be able to do a good quality work on my clients either. So it's good to hear for someone who is in that office setting, just to share their own experience with those miniature habits, tiny habits that you keep stacking. And those 5 minutes, and correct me if I'm wrong, those 5 minutes that you are spending periodically through the day, I find it's more beneficial than having nothing done through the day and just going to stretch for 30 minutes at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just, you're going to find yourself getting tighter right off the bat. So it's not giving you any tangible results. So what it creates is just demotivation, that you don't want to do it anymore, because it's what's your point? And you're right, there's no point.
Yeah.
But the moment you are doing those stackable habits, small things, now that changes and shifts your posture. Anytime you push your heels down, wait a second, that actually does feel, after 20 minutes, it's easy for me just to keep that alignment, or just doing that half kneel. I find half kneel is great.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's the best. It automatically connects you to your hip extension, and you find your posture improve quite a bit.
Yeah.
So the main takeaway from all of this, and thank you, Kabir, for sharing all of this stuff, is making changes is going to be challenging on a different front than most people would think. It's not that it's tough, it's just very different.
Yeah.
It's just very different than from your routine. So the apprehension or the resistance you have is more towards the change of something doing different than it to be a difficult thing to actually apply. What I propose and what he validated that actually does work is a really simplistic steps. Simplistic steps. It starts with no external investment of anything but your awareness.
Yeah.
It's shifting
Absolutely.
your focus away from what you're doing and bringing it back to a fundamental thing that you possess, that your body, that you need to do anything that you do. It's very simple. And that too becomes an autopilot. I mean, if you are the stretch guy in the group, I'm sure you don't have to think about that anymore.
No.
You're tuned in enough to sort of do it when your body
Yeah.
needs stuff, right?
I was at a concert 3 days ago and I was standing in general admission and I felt a little bit of tightness. I'm like, okay, let me stretch it out a little bit.
Beautiful.
My friends were looking at me like, dude, we're at a concert. What are you doing? And I was like, I'm feeling good, man. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about you feeling good, because what I always say, Kabir, if you feel good in your body, then life feels good.
Absolutely. 100%. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Thank you so much for taking time to do this. And I hope you take something positive and something constructive out of this and apply these things to your lifestyle, because it's just one breath, one little awareness away from your posture.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dean.